What myth or folklore do you firmly believe in? There is a Native American belief that when you die and death comes for you, you have a right to a last dance, and all death can do is watch. It makes me feel so sad but so happy at the same time. The Macarena, truly death's dance. Megaconda. It's just a really big anaconda, and since those snakes grow continually throughout their lives, I wouldn't be surprised if some have, in the past, gotten over 50 feet or more. Titanoboa. It did exist about 60 million years ago. The ones they have found have been up to 42 feet long. D.B. Cooper made it. My boyfriend's family is actually very convinced that his great-uncle was D.B. Cooper. A lot of it is hearsay from his grandma, who unfortunately has already passed away, but the stuff he has to back it up is pretty believable. Who knows? 1. The Banshee. Being part Irish, I have heard tales about it as a child. I grew out of it and stopped believing in it for a while. A banshee is supposed to scream when you are going into a situation where it is unlikely for you to come out alive. So, I was driving down the road on a rainy day and I hear this blood-curdling scream in my ear that sent a shiver up my spine. There was no one behind me, so I slammed on the brakes before crossing at the intersections. Sure enough, a huge pickup truck comes speeding down the middle where I would have been and would have been hit. I sat there for a minute and I couldn't get the scream out of my head. Then I thought, Banshee. I pulled into a gas station and called my dad's grandma, who had told me the stories as a child. I told her what happened and to my shock she chuckled and said, "My dear, you were warned and listened to the Banshee, your great-grandfather did not." 2. Dark Watchers. I went up to the Santa Lucia Mountains to be with my friend in her cabin for the weekend. Everything was fine during the day, totally normal. When night came I woke up and decided to go to the kitchen for snack. Looking through the window I could see the figure of a man with glowing eyes in the trees. I freaked out and ran to my friend's bedroom and told her what I saw. She looked at me and said, "Oh, the Dark Watchers. Don't worry, they are just curious and won't do harm." I was stunned at what I had heard. I left the next morning, but made sure to say goodbye. If you whistle at the northern lights, the devil will slap you in the face. Haven't been brave enough to try it. Furiously writes down in my bucket list. Something big lives in the ocean. Blue whales are the largest animals to ever exist and they live in the ocean. Blue the sea fairies and fairy rings. Might be silly superstition, but I'm not exactly gonna mess with it. You know. Just in case. Romans did the same when they conquered new lands. They'd pay homage just in case. I'm actually with you on this one. I hike a lot, deep in the woods. No one else for miles. Don't step in the rings, don't follow the lights. Red clothes, wear iron, don't give your real name. It's weird because I'm generally pretty scientifically minded, but I can't let go of this one particular thing. Anyway. As you say, just in case. Whatever Native Americans are afraid of / refuse to talk about. When I was young, my elementary school library only had non-fiction educational books. Somehow a book about Wendigos and Skinwalkers made its way in there. It wasn't like in the Native American legend states. This thing gave measurements to their height, diet, living regions, what to do if you encounter them, etc. It was like reading something out of National Geographic. The point is, I read the book and never questioned their existence. To me they were just like tigers, mountain lions, and wolves. Big scary wilderness things that we've always had to deal with. I'd go up to summer camp and just assume there were precautions in place for skinwalkers or wendigos just like there were for bears. I was maybe 13 when I found out they are from legend and not actual species. It seriously blew my mind. It would be like finding out lions aren't real. Coca-Cola settles my stomach. I know there are studies on this saying it doesn't, but it does. I know this isn't in the spirit of the question, but it's the only myth I believe. I drank flat Coke for morning sickness, and it worked. Cola syrup is an old-timey nausea remedy. I have a bottle of cola syrup in the fridge for nausea. A lot of people swear by it. The Bogart, a mischievous little spirit hailing from the Scottish origins, lives in the house and does both good and bad things for the residents of the house. My dad has been losing things for as long as I can remember, and apparently it happened even when he was a little kid, according to my nana. Literally things would go missing that had just been set down in our house growing up, and be found in the most bizarre places, like a shaving razor in the fridge, every scissor in the house in one random drawer. When I was little, I read a book about Scottish folklore and found the beastie that had been following my dad around. So I started leaving out little treats and milk in tiny saucers, talking to the Bogart. I am the only person who can find anything in that household, and I think it was because I bribed it so much as a kid. Never lose things now, at least nothing like what it was like growing up. My parents still live in a relative chaos of not being able to find things. The effect the full moon has on people. Working with dementia patients has definitely made me believe this one. As a healthcare worker, I 100% stand behind you. We get so many more psych patients around the time of the full moon. It's honestly terrifying. Finland. Well, now do you still believe in the tooth fairy too then? This past holiday season, I had a nightmare one night where I was chased by 3 polar bears. The very next day, we had a big holiday party at work where we did a white elephant gift exchange. I received a snow globe with 3 polar bears in it, and that freaked me out. I have no idea what it means, but our brains are weird. Whatever lives in the cornfields and watches travelers at night. As someone from the south, yes. You hear a noise while you're in the house, you don't fucking go out. When driving by fields you can feel their eyes. Don't go into abandoned barns at night or you get followed. Something screams in the woods, don't you dare to answer back or look to see what it is. I don't fuck with any of that. Money. If we didn't believe in it, it wouldn't work.
Make sure to like and subscribe for more stories.